So here's one of the biggest challenges with PhD life is actually forcing yourself to take breaks when you need it. So right now I'm going for a walk because I'm in the afternoon lull and I wasn't feeling all that great. I had actually done a fair bit of work this morning, but it wasn't quote unquote work the way I view it. So there are sometimes what you end up having to do is do a lot of like emails and paperwork and things like that don't really add too much value. So the challenge with this is that it consumes all of this time and you can't really do anything. So, today, other than doing emails, doing like a paper submission and going through the process just takes up a lot of time where you have to do things. Now, the challenge that I feel I struggle with is that I feel that does not really work because I'm actually not writing anything and I'm actually not accomplishing anything. And so even though that's consuming a lot of sort of effort and brain power, I don't think it's actually adding a tremendous amount to what I'm doing. And so I don't feel that it's actually work. And when I'm doing that kind of stuff, I always feel like I am, I feel that's where I really struggle with taking breaks, is because it doesn't feel like I should be taking a break when I haven't actually accomplished that much. Even though when you actually look at all the stuff that you do, you actually do accomplish that a lot. Now, in the working world, this is the big difference between sort of PhD life in the working world, is that in PhD life, you're kind of like an entrepreneur where you have to be always on. In the working world, you kind of can get some breaks to go do things. So my wife, even though that she's pretty successful in her career, she can run off and go get something done. Even though that she's working, she can still duck out for 10, 15 minutes or even an hour just to go get something done throughout the day. And that's considered completely kosher to do that. But with PhD life, if you do that, you're considered a slacker. So no matter what you're actually doing in your head and in everybody else's view, if you maybe like read the news for 10 minutes, you feel yourself as being a slacker, and everybody else is like, oh, you're not really putting in any effort and doing all of that kind of stuff. Or, right now going for a walk when you need it, just, I say it's removing the plaque off my brain, where it just kind of gets built up and I don't feel all that productive. Yet it's just really needed to do those things where you just take a break and go, and get some fresh air, get some oxygen going. So, or, getting exercise throughout the day. It's super important to do these things where you feel that it is not work related. But it is part of life, right? So taking a break to eat is one of the, it's a hard thing to get used to. I don't take breaks to eat because then I can sort of condense my day and get more things done throughout the day. So I eat at my desk, but if that's for you, you should be taking those particular things. I never did that when I was even working because I like to condense as much as I possibly can and get in and out. Even when I was in my undergraduate program, I wouldn't take breaks. I would just study as I was eating. So, these things are really important to do those things, is to find the schedule, the effort that works for you, that allows you to get those things and stick with it and sort of forget about what the outside world is telling you. And you have to remind yourself day in and day out that you're just good enough and you're doing a good job as it is. And it's completely appropriate to go for an afternoon walk. In the way that I sort of justify it in my brain is that allows me to become more productive and more efficient, which is nonsense that I actually have to say that. And there's truth to that. I actually did an experiment on my body. I don't know. It was a couple of years ago when I was still untenured. It was like, is this actually adding to things? And the days that I actually do walk or go for a break like that, I'm far more productive. I actually write more, and that's how I was tracking myself. I think it was almost an entire year where I was tracking how much I was writing every day. And then I was sort of seeing, did it make a difference? And it actually made a significant difference in my life in terms of productivity. But I shouldn't have to justify everything like that in terms of productivity and sort of getting things done. This should be just like, hey, you're not feeling good? Go take a break. Get up and get going. Walk around. Go do something. Because it makes you feel better. It makes you feel like more of a human being. And, even though it's quote unquote not rational to do those things, we're not rational human beings, or we're not rational beings. We're not robots. So we can't possibly maximize the efficiency of everything around us. It's nonsense to think like that. So I just want you to remember, do the life that works for you, and really get used to that. That's one of the hardest things that everybody is in PhD life sort of deals with, is this sort of ambiguity is, am I doing things right? And, the answer is, as long as you're getting things down, you're actually writing things, you're doing things right. If you write one word a day, you're fine. You're doing everything that you should be doing. Now, the challenge is getting that one word down a day. Sometimes it's a little tricky, but as long as you're intentionally trying to sit down and get that done, you're totally fine. Now, it's when you kind of forget and not do any of those things and not try to get to where you're going, that's the warning signal. But if you're doing it and you're trying, that's all that matters at the end of the day. It truly is. And just focus on that you're actually trying, you're doing your job, and that's all that matters. The rest of it, the efficiency, all that nonsense, who cares about that stuff? That is just going to pull you down and make you feel awful about yourself. Just keep going. That's it. Day in and day out. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day.